This is the Chery Tiggo 8, a 7-seater SUV from China that's so advanced it can see around corners, has a screen bigger than your first plasma, and provides a price point that will make other manufacturers choke on their premium leather key fobs. And with it starting from less than £29,000, it completely undermines the Nissan X-Trail, Hyundai Santa Fe, and although slightly more pricier than a Dacia Jogger, it's certainly nicer. For me, the design of the Chery Tiggo 8 kind of feels a little bit strange in the sense that this doesn't look like a brand new car that's rolled out of China, like other Chinese cars that have entered the UK, which wouldn't look out of place in a Back to the Future reboot, in the sense that they're so sci-fi looking that they kind of look like Burberry designed it. Whereas this just looks like a car we've seen on the British roads for the last 2-3 decades, with that prominent, very much SUV-esque front grille, them LED light designs, little accents on the front. It kind of looks like a Tucson from 10 years ago, but it still looks modern, and I still like it. But overall, I think it's refreshing, because it just looks like an SUV, and sometimes that is all you want. You'll get 19-inch alloy wheels from standard, and that's across their 4 specs. Well, should I say 2 specs and 2 powertrains. Because with the 2 spec levels being called Aspire and Summit, you also get a combustion engine variant and a plug-in hybrid. And I think it's fair to say the price points are very reasonable, with everything you get as standard from that combustion engine Aspire, which is less than 29 grand. The combustion engine variant will provide a 1.6 litre turbo engine. The plug-in hybrid will give you a 1.5 litre twinned with an electric motor. So you're definitely going to get more out of your mile range, saving your pennies even more. It feels like the Tiggo 8 just captivates everything you kind of want from a large SUV, from a 7-seater. You want it to look good, you want it to drive well, but you also want it to not break the bank or make you sell a kidney. There's one thing I certainly do like about the Tiggo 8 is hands-free opening come from that base spec. It's not one of these things where you got to tap the handle. I mean, you can if you want to lock it. I didn't even know it did that. So you can do that, but when you walk up to the car, then it'll open for you and can get into that lovely interior. And there's no place that shows off that sense of value for money more than its interior, because look at this. This is 29 grand's worth of car. It's almost unheard of ever since these Chinese cars come to the UK, and I feel like other manufacturers that have settled in the UK for years might have to start changing the way they make cars and their philosophy, because to me it feels like a no-brainer to go for something like this for this price point when you can get a 15.6-inch infotainment screen, wireless phone charger, plenty of space and storage, digital dash, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, and even 540-degree around view monitor, all for less than 29 grand. Now you do the maths. To me it seems like a steal, and best of all, it feels well built. It's not like they've just given you loads of features and have a pretty basic car interior. There's leather lining your centre console, there's a little bit of plastic in the middle, but it's got a nice finish. It's not scratchy any sense of the word. Deep pockets in your centre console, you got suede on the dash, lining the doors, you have that chrome effect with that ambient lighting. It isn't just a small strip that they put in to say they've got ambient lighting. They throw it at you. It's got it on the doors all the way along the dashboard. It's customizable. And apart from the little shortcut buttons for your climate controls in the centre, where you can put your demister on, you can toggle your air conditioning on or off, or just put it on auto, that little section kind of feels a little bit plasticky and a little bit cheap, but I can compromise by having a cheap little button in the centre console, yet giving you all them features and this premium finish. And the infotainment screen is rather practical. Now it does come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, again from that base spec, no surprises there. Built-in sat-nav system is still good, it's still a very responsive system, but between you and me, I'd still use Apple CarPlay. It's what I know. But if you didn't want to use it, then I don't think you'd have any worries, because that is still a very slick system, and unlike a lot of Chinese cars that come to the UK, it has tech, but it doesn't have gimmicky tech. It doesn't have Netflix. It doesn't have a karaoke machine. And I kind of like that, because when would you really use it? When you first bring that car home, you might show it off to your friends and family and go, look at this, we play karaoke. Apart from that, I don't think I'd be belting out a bit of Olivia Newton-John when I'm charging my car. Even little things like the drive mode selector could be easy to just have a little switch. It's this nice dial. It sounds nice. And I think it's unexpected for a fairly affordable car brand to have this level of premium nature. You would almost look at Chery being, well, the affordable Chinese brand that comes to the UK. It's kind of sits underneath the likes of Geely, sits underneath BYD, sits underneath JQ and Omoda, but it still just has a nice finish. Even the seats, they're so chunky, them headrests. Maybe give a bit of Range Rover Evoque vibes about it. I know the Chinese love to do that with the JQ7. It's kind of replicated in here. Seats very well padded, all sturdy. There's no shaky bits. It's all well built. And best of all, you even get a little onboard helper. Hello, Chery.
You can tell me.
Turn fan speed up too.
Okay.
So easy. If you're in the market for this category type car, then you're probably going to use it as your family vehicle because you want more space, you've got kids in the back. Well, let me assure you, your kids will be driving in style. They won't be cramped, they won't be moaning on a long car journey because there's so much legroom, so much headroom. I mean, the dimensions of this car kind of rival normal 7-seaters on the market, but the amount of space you get in the back is almost unbelievable. You get all them premium features as you do in the front, that chrome by the door handles, the ambient lighting. You get air vents in the back and also a USB and USB-C charger. So 2 chargers in the back. Kids certainly won't be squabbling if their iPad runs out of charge. You get a fold-down armrest, very sturdy, 2 cup holders housed in there. And you will get ISOFIX points either side, so younger children will be safe. I just think the actual finish of it, the actual feel, it's just replicated the front. They've not cut corners, made back seats pretty naff. It still feels smart, it still feels very premium. And if you're a teenager in that 3rd row, need more legroom, you can slide it forward. You can customise where that 2nd and 3rd row go. So you can put your kids in any configuration you want. It's not a sensible teenagers have to go here, younger ones further back there. You can actually rotate them around and they'll still be very comfortable. If there's one thing you certainly will be wanting when it comes to a 7-seater SUV is plenty of boot capacity, which you do get to some degree, because underneath your tailgate, hands-free, if you decide to treat yourself and go for the higher spec, you'll get 494 litres of boot capacity. Although looking at it, it feels a lot bigger. I think with the height of this car and how wide that opening is, the fact it's a flat floor so you can just slide cases in for a family road trip, then it makes it seem like you should be getting more than 494 litres. However, there is a bit of a but in the sense that if you were to utilise the 3rd row, even though it's very simple to pull these up, then even says, been to the gym yesterday, that's why I'm a bit achy, that's why I couldn't do it. If you had that 3rd row up, then you could maybe get an overnight bag in. It reduces drastically to 117 litres. Now you probably would be expecting that. There's so many 7-seaters SUVs currently on the market where once you put the 3rd row up, then it's more than halved, it's almost thirded. That's not even a word, thirded, but you get what I mean. So you kind of expect it. I just wish they would leave at least 250 litres. It means you're going to have to buy a roof box, but that's kind of just an issue with a lot of 7-seaters. And you could probably find a way around that, and it's not the end of the world. As for the design of the rear, and it's weird in the sense that it kind of feels a lot more premium, a lot more well thought out than that front look. Even though I'm a fan of the front, this just looks even better. You've got that really rugged rear bumper. You've got that light bar which runs across, which is very synonymous with modern day cars, but I just think the way it sticks out, it looks a bit different. It kind of looks more rugged and fits that SUV stance a lot more than if it was some fancy light show one that comes across, or it doesn't look like there's a light bar there and all of a sudden it pops up. I think that suits it well. You have what looks like dual exhaust, big chunky ones, but they're covered with plastic. They aren't the real ones. The real ones are underneath. You certainly don't need them big exhausts for the performance that this SUV pulls out. And I just find that a little bit frustrating that they're fake. But if you stand back, it looks pretty smart. And realistically, unless someone look down, they're not going to know they're fake. One thing to bear in mind about the Tiggo 8, and as a matter of fact, any Chinese car that enters the UK, they are incredibly safe in the sense that if I was not to have my seatbelt on and I'm trying to put it into drive or reverse, won't actually go anywhere. Yet, put the seatbelt on, make sure you're locked in safe, then you could be away. I do love how that 540 degree round view monitor fills up the screen. It's so clear and with how large the infotainment screen is, it almost makes driving this and certainly parking it an absolute breeze. As for its performance, and you'd expect the hybrid to have a bit of a punchier output than its combustion engine counterpart, and it certainly does. The combustion engine provides 0 to 60 in around about 9.4 seconds. Hybrid knocks off second, 8.4. But it certainly has enough give and go when coming off roundabouts, off slip roads. It has that punch off the line. As a matter of fact, the plug-in hybrid can actually drive in full EV. And it's surprisingly not a sluggish 7-seater. Normally you're kind of looking at a 7-seater and it just feels like a massive tank, this absolute machine on wheels that is going to get you and your big family to your destination in a safe manner. Is it fun or even comfortable to drive at all? Majority of the time they're not. This doesn't have that sense. It has really good kick off the line, it feels smooth, and with this interior, it's just a bit of a pleasure. Now when I'm actually driving round, you do sit very high up on the road. It's a 7-seater SUV, I think you'd expect that. But with that said, I don't necessarily feel like I'm encroaching on the other side of the road. I don't feel like I'm in a ridiculously huge car. It still manoeuvres very good. It's smooth with all them driver safety convenience features which come from standard. Like a lot of Chinese cars entering the UK, you do get a lot of tech, as mentioned. You get 540-degree around view monitor, even from the base spec. You're going to get adaptive cruise control, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto from standard, built-in sat-nav, but I don't think I necessarily utilise that. Saying it, it's still a very responsive system. There's nothing laggy about this 15.6-inch infotainment screen whatsoever. It's very smooth in that transition from a cold start when you're pulling out onto a roundabout. It doesn't have a bit of lag when you put your foot down. Obviously with this being a hybrid, then it can start up in full EV, so you kind of expect that smooth transition, but it's not so lumpy that it feels and drives like a transit van. You will get multiple driving modes again from standard. You get it all from standard. You're really getting a lot for your money. You'll get eco, normal and sport, which would have been nice if they had something like a snow mode or all-terrain mode, considering the size of this car, but I don't think it's necessarily a drawback. You're getting multiple driving modes, stop complaining. So then, there you have it, the Chery Tiggo 8, a 7-seater SUV from China, which kind of feels like a bit of an anomaly from current Chinese cars entering the UK car market, because it's not some overhyped, over-techy SUV. It kind of looks like a car we've seen so many times before. However, that interior is really the standout feat for the fact that it comes in either combustion engine or hybrid. With it starting from less than 29 grand, you certainly won't get a more value for money SUV on the market, especially a 7-seater. That price point is almost like a top spec Dacia Jogger. And let me tell you, look at this, look at that interior compared to a Dacia Jogger. I just don't think there's any competition really whatsoever. Some people might love the Dacia Jogger, it's very practical, it's very affordable, but just that little bit extra and you can get that. If you're after a 7-seater SUV, then you want that practicality. You want to be fit for purpose because you've got a large family. You want to be able to store so many things if you're not utilising that third row. Yet this still has a good performance, has all modern day car tech and feels rather bougie considering its price point. For me, I don't think you can maybe get better 7-seaters for less than 30 grand. But if you want to experience it for yourself and book a test drive, then you can do, or even look at the rest of the Chery range at Brindley Motor Group, Chery Wolverhampton.